All right. All right, let's go. Yeah. Throwback Thursday. Vita. C. Carey, right? What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? right, let's go. Hold on. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. And this your daily. It's the daily go-getter-mism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talk about if they can contact you, they can get back with you tonight. Tonight we talk about relationships. This is Let's Get Real About Relationships Thursday on the Daily Go-Getter-Mism Show. And we got something we got to talk about tonight. Because, you know, you never know when you might get with somebody that makes a request of you that you might not be ready to honor. But then again, you know, depending on the energy of the person that you have gotten with and whether they have rung your trust bell, you may say, you know what, this is not an unreasonable request. But it all depends on where you have been, how you are used to structuring things, and how this new person that you're with is coming at you. Because if I would imagine that if somebody is coming at you and they're brand new, even though y'all feeling each other or whatever, you might be easing on down that love road. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm really, really feeling her, or I'm really, really feeling him. And, you know, you're not ready to let this person just go because they asked you to do something that makes you a little uncomfortable. You may want to, you know, keep the lines of communication open and kind of have a meeting of the minds and make sure that the request that they are asking of you is reasonable. Now we're talking about, well, as y'all, I don't know if y'all can see the title of the show, because sometimes people come in and they say they can't see the title. So the title is, if they can still call you, they can still have you. Is it true? I know for a lot of y'all like, no, that's not true. Just because you can call me don't mean I'm going to answer. It doesn't mean that I'm going to talk to you. It doesn't mean that anything else is going to come out of it. It just means that you had my phone number, just like you had when we were together. But to some people, and you may have dealt with somebody at some point, like potentially your baby mom or your baby dad, that really feels like, well, because we have this common thing. Well, in the case of a child, it makes the dynamic a whole lot different than just having your phone number. But for the new person that's in your life, they may feel like if you have a phone or a phone book full of your ex's phone numbers, and they can get in contact with you because your number is still the same, they may feel like, well, they still have access to you. They have your phone number. They may know your address, or, you know, they might know your peoples. They may know your friends, your social circle or whatever. They can still touch you. They can still get with you. They can still influence you. They can even irritate you if that's what they want to do. So I need you to do one thing. I need you to do me this one little solid, Ma. Hey, yo, Ma, I need you to delete all of those X's out of your phone. Starting with the last one and every one of them before. And why not? It's all about me and you, right? I'm saying, you know, we got this thing going. This is our thing. I mean, you know, do it like Prince did in Purple Rain. Apollonia, don't you like the way we are? Apollonia, don't you like the way we are? Apollonia, don't you like the way we are? Don't you like the way we are? I said Apollonia, don't you like the way we are? Apollonia, don't you like the way we are? Apollonia, don't you like the way we are? Don't you, yo, Apollonia, don't you like the way we are? Apollonia, don't you like the way we are? Yeah, don't you like the way we are? Don't you like the way? I said Apollonia, don't you like the way we are? We are just like things in the sky. We like stars. We in the solar system together, and I'm trying to be with you, but I'm thinking, whatever cat that you had back in your past, he might be able to come through and tap on that ass, baby. And I can't deal with the thought. So out there, I'm not trying to get caught. Apollonia, don't you like the way we are? What up, B to B? T carry right morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peepers going directly into your sight. And Science in Mind. What up, Science in Mind? Thanks for coming through. Christian Cummings said, don't stop. Don't stop. I'm almost finished. That's what's I ain't even gonna ask that question. Mad pauses in there. Joe Schmidt. That's what's up, man. Thanks for coming through, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Mucho, mucho, mucho. All right. Joe Smith says, play some tribal stuff. I got nothing, my dude. Marvina Bigby, what's good, Ma? Always good to see you. Always, always good to see you. Tori 2200, you already know. Manifest Reality. What's up, y'all? What's good? And Carmise Branch, what up, Carmise? What's good, man? I'm glad to see y'all here. All right. Manifest Reality said, no, I ain't deleting no goddamn contacts. You know what I mean? Feeding into your insecurity. You better get it together. Get it together. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Romeo and Juliet. It's me and you. Ain't nobody in here. Ain't nobody running interference over here. You know what I'm saying? Work on your trust issues. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. I'm just going to go about my business of being a good person to you. You know, that's what we going to do. All right. Manifest says trying to check in properly on computer. That's what's up. All right. So y'all know where we're going. Y'all know where we're going. You know where we're going. All right. So we're going to get this hardware out of the way. Get this hardware out of the way. And let's have this conversation, y'all. Let's have this conversation. Come on. And y'all know what I need y'all to do. I only need y'all to do one thing. The same thing that I ask y'all to do every night. Please hit that like button. Let's get the likes up. Get the likes in the right place. Let's get the likes in the right place. Your heart is in the right place. Let's get the likes in the right place. If you have forgotten to hit the like button, all I ask of you and all I need you to do is hit the like button. But yeah, if they can still call you, then they can still have you. Now, I know y'all ladies out here have come across some dude that y'all used to mess with. Maybe y'all were in a serious relationship. Maybe you weren't. But somebody who thought that they could still get back with you no matter how much they messed up, no matter how much you've moved on, no matter... You probably have an ex out there that don't even care that you've gotten married, have had kids, have started a family, have gotten divorced, have gotten with somebody else, have gotten remarried. They still like, yeah, but I still got your phone number though. And I know you still love me. I don't care what you say, because I know you still love me. You know what I mean? I know you still love me. Look, you answer my calls. You answer my text. You know what I mean? You still call and wish my mom a happy birthday and a Merry Christmas. So don't act like you don't know. But it's a little early. Hold on. This gotta be wrong. Hold on, let me see. Let's see.
You have a call from...
Caller with the last number is 0178. Welcome to the Daily Go Get a Business Show. What's on your mind tonight? What's good?
What's up, bud?
What up?
Okay, in regard to the...
This is a real call. Okay, that's what's up. All right, let's go. Hold on. Let me take a seat. Go ahead.
You know, in regards to the poll, I would probably delete if he would. And I'm just being realistic because I've been in the type of situations, and I've also seen other people in situations where them and they ex, not to say that you and your ex can't be the best of friends, okay? But there are also situations where exes still try to gain hold of your heart. I'm in a situation right now where my ex is still keeping in touch with my family and still doing little things to try to see if he can enter back my way. So I'm not going to act like stuff like that don't happen. And I don't necessarily think that it's people often say you're insecure. But I think it's like a balance. Like I don't think it's just totally insecurity or far fetched to know that those things can happen and that they do. And I have another ex from we dated in our 20s, and my gosh, before that man got married again, I promise you, he was. I'm gonna fly you out. I'm gonna da, 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 da. I promise you. And I used to like no because I have the belief system that once we're exes. But he still was in communication, and we know that that happens to males too. People can try to resurface back.
Yeah.
So I would probably, if he would delete, I would probably delete too. And sometimes I'm not gonna lie, people can have trust issues too.
Of
And I
course.
understand that in the world of relationships, we've all been scared, traumatized, we've been on one side or the other, so we ain't gonna act like that don't happen either. But
Facts.
I guess for me, if I care about the person that I'm with enough, then I care about their heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I care about not putting them in a situation where they feel insecure or disregarded. So let's say, okay, maybe I didn't delete the contacts of the exes. Then I'm going to be talking to my ex right in front of you. It's fine for you to understand that there's nothing there. Yeah, I don't need to go to the bathroom and close the door or put the phone down. I need you, since I regard you as the man in my life, to feel secure. I want you to feel secure.
Right,
So I
right.
don't put you in those type of situations, and I will pray that you don't, that you also have the same state of mind when it comes to my heart too. So
Okay, let me ask you this. Since you say that if he deleted his contacts, you would delete your contacts, but would you want to delete your contacts just because he wanted you to delete your contacts? Because, you know, whether you satisfy that person's desire for you to, you know, delete your contacts or to limit your involvement or actually your memory bank of the people that were significant in your life at one time. You know, like your willingness to do that or to accommodate is one thing, but what about your desire? Like, is that what you want to do? And why would you be willing to compromise what you want to do versus what you don't want to do? You know, because, you know, I mean, for me, thinking about this whole thing, first of all, I wouldn't do it. There's no way it's going to happen. Like it's off the table. It's not, like I would never do it regardless. And that's because I don't know. I don't. If we got really serious, there may become a time where I would voluntarily, you know, remove everybody else because you know you the one. And you know what I mean? There would be no reason for any of my exes to be able to get back in contact with me for any reason. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing romantic going on if I've decided that this is where the buck stops. But early in a relationship, somebody trying to get you to do something like that when you don't even know if y'all have a future together, I think that's a little unreasonable. But
I would.
I know people who do it. I know people who do it without being asked.
So you're speaking about time frame. So this is earlier on in the relationship. If it's earlier on in the relationship, of course not. I wouldn't do that because you don't know where that relationship is going to head.
Right.
If this is years down the line and you guys have stated real, you stated real estate with each other and claims, then and it's worth it on both ends, then I would do it if it's worth it. It has to be worth it. Other than that, no. If it's earlier on, no,
Okay.
because you just don't know.
Right. You really don't. And even okay. So I know people who constantly, like, soon as they get out of a relationship, or let me put it this way, soon as they get into a relationship, another relationship, they change their numbers. You know what I mean? So, you
Right?
know, they're constantly regulating who has access to them. And to me, that says something about a person. You know what I mean? Because I don't see why, if everything is on the up and up and everything is legit, I don't see why you would have to throw away your past for good in that way. Now, that's regardless of whether you would continue to contact them or try to or let them try to get back with you or whatever. I don't think that that's really as important as basically preserving your history. Now, just because you have contacts in your phone doesn't necessarily mean that you're active with those contacts. But I just think it's peculiar when I know people who change their numbers all the time to get, and this normally is normally to get rid of one particular contact. You know what I mean? So they break up. People do a lot of strange things when they break up. But as you can see, and as we'll talk about more, people do a lot of strange things when they get together with somebody also. So adhering to the request of somebody that asks you to do something that will alienate you from others, but kind of isolate you with them. I think that it warrants a conversation, and I think it warrants some really hard thinking on the part of the person that is going to do the accommodating, because it's like, well, why do you want me to do this for you? Like, have I given you some type of indication that I'm straying away, or that, you know what I mean, it's not just about me and you, or like what's going on? But I mean,
it's open field for a conversation, not to just jump into anything,
mm-hmm.
into any action. It's open field for a conversation to know where it's stemming from, where it's moving from.
Mm-hmm. Well, Here's the thing. Sometimes people get into a situation, and they really think that, like, I finally found Mrs. Right. I finally found Mr. Right. And they want to do everything to make sure that they secure that relationship and lock it down. And they think that they're doing the right thing. Now, you would think that as a person becomes more mature, that they would make better and more informed decisions, but it don't always go that way. Adults ain't nothing but kids that have a few years on them. You know what I'm saying? So at any age, we can still make a bad decision, because we may be in a new decision. I mean, we may be in a new situation that's unfamiliar to us, and we're trying to get acclimated into it. But your heart will tell you to do some shit that later on your brain will be calling you a real dummy for.
Let me ask you a question. With your exes, do all of them know that y'all are just friends? Are you still active? Do some of them think they can get back with you?
Now, that's where the whole trust thing comes in. Because if you don't do the work to let the one that you're with feel secure, feel safe, and feel exclusive, then they have a right to question you, or not trust you, or not feel comfortable. You understand what I mean? So there are certain things that you should do as a person that's in a relationship to make sure that you reduce all the static and all of that, because there can be a lot of static that goes unaddressed in a new relationship, where y'all really trying to get to know each other, and hopefully not just trying to get to know all of the sneaky or bad or underhanded things that a person does. Because sometimes if we've been in a toxic situation, or just not a favorable situation, it can have an effect on the baggage that you take to another situation. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, you should never take baggage from one relationship to another relationship." I'm like, well, that's like saying that you can't remember what happened to you when you go into another situation. Like, that's ridiculous to me. It doesn't mean you have to play it the same way, though. It don't mean that. Everybody does. No, so say that again. I'm sorry.
Trust. Well, the way I look at it, I start a person off typically with a blank sheet of trust. And then whatever your behaviors are with that, you show me that I need not to have that for you. I need not to give that to you. And I retract as time goes along. But initially, it takes time to know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't go in thinking like, oh, you're gonna be the worstest person. So you get that until those behaviors come, and then when those behaviors come, those behaviors that are a reflection of you, it kind of show me, okay, maybe I need not to be doing that with you. We need to have this discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What do you think is more important? Do you think that the timeline is more important, or do you think that the feelings during the time way heavier? Because you can say it like, well, if y'all been together for 2, 3 years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, y'all should know each other well enough to be able to trust each other, or the trust should be established. But shit, you can be with somebody for 20 years and never trust them because they was shady the whole time. You know what I mean?
That.
So
That.
so what do you say? It's the energy that matters more than the time, or like how would you frame it?
Energy that matters more than the time, because at any given time something happened in a relationship that can upset it, and a person can retract, or they can start behaviors that's not what your normal is with that person. That can happen in 5 years, that can happen in 3, that can happen in 20. You just don't really know. You know what I'm saying? By being with a person, you typically kind of get predictable. You kind of know each other's flow and different things of that nature. So you know when the energy changes or there's a switch up. So for me, it's the energy. It's not the time, because that energy can change during a time period depending upon the stimulus, what's going on between the two, outside stressors, inside stressors. It can, or just what's going on inside the person. So for me, it's the energy. It's not the time. It's the energy.
Yeah, I think that the energy is the most important thing. But the thing is, the energy can be really strong in the beginning, but can you trust the energy? How do you know when and if you can trust the energy?
Well, okay, because it's natural initially. Okay, so if you're dating from a perspective of looking at it where all these hormones and these brain chemicals are going off, I kind of have settled from that I'm 46 now, so I kind of settled from that. But in the beginning,
you just a
there's
baby.
all this infatuation, the brain chemicals are going off, so the energy is pretty heavy naturally, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But as you gradually go with a person, there's an expectation for me for that to wane off.
Okay.
But for us not to be in crazy toxicity either. It's just that that intense infatuation stage is kind of not there, and then we're kind of like in a stage where I guess some people who are toxic would call it boredom, but for me, it's just natural. I'm talking about when we're in that stage and how your energy feels to me. And that's the baseline for me. That's what I call, once you enter that stage, not the intensity, but that stage after the intensity, after the infatuation and different things of that nature. Once we're at that stage, that's kind of like a baseline for me. And then as we go along gradually, and we know each other even more, if you change from that stage, or there's some issue, or if I'm changing outside of what we're normally growing or what have you, then that's something that I have to consider. If I feel a bad change from that, like, okay, if our normal is to communicate and we come together at one day out the week and we come together and we reflect on everything out of the week and how you been and how I been and da 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 da, and I'm noticing that you're no longer interested in that, then I'm going to be at your neck asking you, well, baby, what's going on? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it might not necessarily be me, but what's going on in your life? Can we talk about these things? Okay. You
Yeah,
know, you get what I'm saying?
I do. I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
And, you know, but you know, like when we talking about a topic like this, and for those of y'all who are just coming in, if y'all can't see the title, it's called "If They Can Still Call You, Then They Can Still Have You." Now, you know, this is like a twofold situation because you know, the person that you are with currently, they may be feeling like if somebody can still contact you, then they can still get with you. Or you may be feeling that way, even if you're not seeing anybody at that time. So, you know, I'm trying to accommodate for the people who delete people out, who, you know, block numbers, delete people, change numbers and all that kind of stuff. They pretty much are used to starting at the grassroots level every time they break up with somebody or you know shit don't go right for them. You know, and I'm not even trying to diss, but you know, I'm just dealing with the real feelings that a lot of people have, and it's hard to audit how a person is going to deal with whatever pain that they're faced with and how they try to avoid it. You understand what I mean? So when I talk about trust, I'm always talking about it on a level that will surpass the immaturity, that will surpass the those the butterflies in the stomach, the goose pimples, the heart beating fast, the I gotta be with her or him, the you know all of the hot and heavy stuff that you feel at the beginning before you really know somebody, you know. So I think that in the beginning you have to be able to trust yourself, and not every and some people know that they can't trust themselves, like you know. So if one of your exes calls and it might have been the ex that you really wanted to be with, and maybe you fucked up, and that's the reason why y'all not there no more. So you know that if they come ringing your phone or whatever, you know you're gonna be like, hey, what's going on? You called, you know what I'm saying? So being able to trust yourself is paramount in the beginning, because if you can't trust yourself, it's going to probably be a little harder for somebody outside of yourself, you know what I mean, to trust you, especially when they're dealing with their own insecurities. Because everybody has a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I say. It's not. People always come on. I want people that's a person that's totally confident. In my 46 years, I've learned that these are different emotional states, and that there's a spectrum, and that you're not going to be confident 100% of the time, like you're not going to be insecure 100% of the time. There's a balance in everything. And insecurity is not necessarily a bad thing. It just is. So some people have them, and some people have less, and some people may have more. Some people may be a little bit more confident. Some people may be a little less.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, okay, let's say that genuinely your ex, or you got a number of exes. Let's say genuinely that your exes are friends, and you genuinely don't want to get rid of them, and y'all generally are not trying to act with each other. How would you give this to your partner, and how would you display this to them if they asked you to delete and y'all had a conversation? How would you make your partner um, feel like you can be that you can be trusted in this situation? How would you display that stuff?
Okay. So here's the part where not only trust comes into the picture, but also respect. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be hard for you to get the respect of whoever you're with if you are sort of parading your past in front of them. So
Exactly.
so even if you are friends with your ex, your ex should respect the boundaries of your new person. And you know, this ain't no sitcom, and this ain't no romantic comedy where where your ex is like totally innocent, and like, yo, like, we used to date, but we not like, no, it ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? So we know in our heart of hearts, if y'all used to swap bodily fluids and all of that kind of shit, y'all can only be but so friendly as far as friends are concerned. Because there was one time when y'all were not just friends, but y'all were lovers. And if y'all still felt strongly enough for each other to not break that bond that y'all had with each other, then y'all still have a lot of admiration and genuine love for each other. So to expect your ex, I'm sorry, to expect your current relationship to understand that, especially when y'all haven't gotten off the ground yet. It's cool. It can easily look like, well, you keeping him as a placeholder. I feel like this motherfucker is watching me. He watching me. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like, that ain't gonna work.
So then I asked the question, and this is what, and I understand that. I get it so much. That's why I said, is your current really being insecure, or is there some truth to that?
Well,
and that's why I looked at it as because I know my exes. I got two exes that are one ex that just got married, so he's not at my neck. I got one ex right now that's still at my neck. He's petitioning, bothering my brother, keeping a relationship with my brother to get next to me still. And I hate I introduced this man to my brother. He done came by my apartment, from my doorbell, everything. So if I was with my current would not be insecure, but thinking that even if let's say I wasn't acting in full fidelity and I hid it, but he could still sense that, he's not insecure for that, because that is all that could potentially be a possibility towards people who have been once united in that realm.
Yeah, I'll say this: just because the truth is there doesn't absolve somebody of insecurity. You can still be insecurity. I mean, you can still be insecure and find out the truth. It doesn't mean that you weren't insecure, because you may be the type of person that concentrated on finding the truth so much that you never even concentrated on anything else that y'all could have built together. You know what I mean? So you already placed them at the scene. You may have already placed them at the scene of the crime before the crime was committed. You know what I'm saying? So I think, okay, let me put it this way. Just because a situation has been revolved as being true doesn't mean that you're not insecure. And just because you you are secure, it doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't keep your eyes peeled. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, in what situation in this world should you never concern yourself with safety? It doesn't mean that you have to obsess over it, but the only person that you really know what they're going to do is yourself. And sometimes you may have to ask yourself, like, why the hell did I do that? You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that it's wrong to display a little bit of insecurity. However, everything has a limit, has a limit on it. So you have to watch how far you go, and you have to learn how to regulate yourself. And that's what age and especially experience is supposed to give to you. But you can be caught out there at any age. You know what I mean? Because every situation may present itself differently. So you have to still be careful. But I'll also say this. You have the right. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm messing up here. You have the right to check up on a situation to make sure that it's good. You don't have to obsess over it. And you also have the right to trust as you feel comfortable. So, you have the right to check up, and you have the right to not check up. You're not wrong, for letting something come to you. A hunter A good hunter doesn't go out there just shooting at everything. You know, I mean, a hunter doesn't run after this prey. He sits back and watches and waits. And as soon as he gets a good shot, it's one shot, one kill. If you got to shoot twice,
So
you ain't a good hunter. Huh?
Insecurity shows itself by obsessing over it, but understanding that it could potentially happen and being aware of the behaviors, what those behaviors look like, is a totally different thing. And then what about if you're in a situation and you see these behaviors, but your current gaslights you and say, oh, no, that's not that. That's not what you see. That's why I said I would open up a realm of trust between me and my partner, whereas if I still had communication with my ex, I would not do it outside of the space. He would be privy to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go in the bathroom or, turn my phone down or anything of that nature, because I don't want him to feel like I'm mistreating him or I have a placeholder. Because what you then in return do, you set a pillar up in a person's mind, and then they start, if they're not aware of themselves and they haven't really got a good emotional base, then what they'll do is they'll start cheating or having placeholders and different things of that nature over something that could have just been communicated properly. If you really took the time out to put up your boundaries and say, well, this is something I like and this is something I can't take. This is something, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Listen, the key word here is respect. And some people know how to use the word respect, but they don't know how to play it out. You know what I mean? They don't know how to play it out, because true respectfulness will make sure that you don't look like you sneaking around. Because if you look like you sneaking around, you're not being respectful, because now you're making me look. You know what I mean? Like the room next door is supposed to be quiet. You sound like it's an animal in there. Is it a mouse? Has a squirrel or a raccoon got in the house? All I know is there ain't no person in the next room, but I'm hearing shit. That's on you. It's up to you to make sure that the next room is quiet. That should be the key element of your respectfulness. You know what I mean? So, all right. So bringing this thing full circle, if somebody asks you to delete all of your contacts from your past, what they're asking you to do is make them feel safe and secure and exclusive. You should be able to find another way for that to be done if it makes you uncomfortable to delete all your contacts, because that's not always requested in good faith. Somebody might be asking you to delete all their contacts so they can isolate you from your past, your friends, your family, and everybody. And next thing you know, then they start being toxic and abusive. Huh?
Is it delete your contacts or just delete your exes?
Here's the thing.
It's different from narcissistic abuse. Narcissistic abuse will separate you from your family and your friends and all your loved ones.
But so see,
is it your exes or is it your contacts, period?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because at first, because everything is, things come in layers and tiers and shit. So a smart predator is not going to ask you to delete your all your contacts up front. They're going to make it seem like, yeah, just delete your exes. You know what I mean? That way I know I can trust you and you can have the best part of me. But then like a really toxic predator, then they start creating situations where your friends look like your enemies, where your family looks like look like they never really value you, or they don't really support you. And, like a toxic predator always make themselves look like the only ones that you can trust. But they do it eventually. So yeah, at first, once you submit to deleting all of the contacts, then it's like, okay, all right, that's phase one. Now we gonna work on these little single ass friends of hers, because they single. You know what I mean? And so now, he might start getting in your head, or she might start getting in your head. They ain't your real friends. Where were they when you needed money? Where were they when you needed to move? Where were they when your car broke down? Well, who was there for you? Me. That's who. I'm the only one that's really there. And if you slow, or you ain't up on game, you start feeding into that shit. You know how it is.
If you ain't up on game, that's the thing. If you ain't, you better be up on game, because if you up on game, you need to leave that relationship quick.
And
fast in a hurry.
And unfortunately,
if you up on game, but if you ain't up on game, it's that they get caught up in that trap.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of people, predators know who what prey to go after. They know, and they know how to do this thing. You know what I mean? They know how to do it. They've been trained. They practice. It's happened by trial and error and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if they can work on other areas of their life the way they do in toxicity in their relationships, they could, if they could do that shit in business, they would probably, have more money than Elon Musk.
That's a CEO mentality.
It is divide and conquer. But they work at home. They work at home. They ain't never in the office. They working at home and shit. So yeah, it's I'm not going to say that it's dangerous to adhere to the request of deleting your contacts, but it's some shit to it. You just have to recognize that I don't know if this shit is being asked in good faith. So you might want to, you might have to check up on them a little bit. Let me find out where this person really comes from. Let me find out what they've been through, where they come from, where they would make this outlandish request. You know what I'm saying?
That's why you communicate. You communicate and you get to know each other to understand. Because like you said, and we had the conversation prior to that, a person may want to voice to you, but they don't know how to put it in verbatim that, I'm struggling a little bit and I need to feel safe in my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had prior relationships.
Wait, hold on just a second. Let me bring this call in. Hold on a second.
You have a call from.
Okay, we good. Go ahead, finish what you were saying.
I've had prior relationships where I did not feel. And what people typically try to do is when they don't trust, or when they don't feel secure, they try to control. So essentially, am I trying to control you or control how I feel by asking you to delete your contacts to control my anxiety?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I just needing to want to really say, how can we compromise so that I can feel safe and you can feel safe? And that way, and that's when, like you said, that's when the respect can come in. How can we talk and negotiate where I don't necessarily have to get rid of what was a part of me, but for you to feel safe and have correct boundaries and to feel like there is trust there between you and I. And I don't have to necessarily let go of my quote unquote friend. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, because when you think about it, the friends that you've had for years. These ain't no fly by night friends. Y'all have learned each other. Y'all friends for a reason. Y'all have shared interests, bonds, energy. You know what I'm saying?
one could argue because of that person could potentially get in there again. Okay, so it could see that could work both ways.
Well, I'm with your friends. You should never lose your friends. I don't think I wouldn't condone any relationship that would tell you to get rid of your friends. Yeah, now no. Now with your ex, yeah. Listen, I'm not going to co-sign. You know what I mean? Being all having your ex all up in your current relationships face and shit like it's sweet like that. That shit ain't cool. That shit ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like all right. You know how like with pet owners, try to follow this example. Pet owners like to put animals together that don't go together. Making cats, you know what I mean, be friends with birds and dogs be friends with cats and shit. Shit that would never happen out in the wild. No kind of way. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's sort of like what you ask. Okay, like the Lion King. Scar messing around with the hyenas and shit, bringing the hyenas into the pride. And the lion's looking like, what the fuck you think you doing?
Right.
No, dog. And he trying to tell him, like, nah, the hyena. I made a deal with the hyenas. We good. I know we've had problems with the hyenas back in the day, but that was back in the day. You know what I mean? This is a new day. We good. The lion's like, nah, we not good. Because even if the hyenas ain't biting, ain't stealing food, ain't fucking up our pride and killing our young, I still got to keep an eye on them because that's what they do.
Exactly.
So yeah. So parading your ex in front of your current relationship, huh? Like what you doing, Scar? Nah, Scar, nah, that ain't it. Because now you're keeping me wondering what's really going on here. You're making me keep my eyes peeled. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and unfortunately, people have gotten away with this bullshit. And I have to go back to that word respect. I remember, and after I talk about this, I'm bring Vita in. I remember I was messing with this chick, and she was married to this dude, and this was a very uncomfortable situation for me. And she was a barber, and they owned a barber shop together. And her husband was also in the military or whatever, so he would have to go away on missions and whatever, you know, so he wasn't always around. But when he was around and he was in a barbershop, and she would be calling me while he was in the shop, and I used to be like, what are you doing? Why would you call me while he's in earshot? Oh, he don't know I'm talking to you, like, you know what I mean? That's why, you know, I'm not saying anything suggestive or whatever, but I'm like, you don't have no respect for your fucking husband. And in turn, you're not respectful because you're not respecting me.
Exactly.
You're messy. Now, of course, I was real young at the time, but I'm like, you're messy. That shit ain't cool. I guess I was supposed to feel, you know, all testosterone filled and shit. Like, yeah, I got this bitch, you know what I mean, talking to me in front of her husband or whatever. I'm gonna start talking nasty to her. See how make her blush in front of him. Like, nah. I stopped fucking with her cold turkey. Like, yo, go ahead, you flea. I mean, what kind of shit is this? You know what I mean?
But that's what it's not about the ego. A person could manipulate a situation and literally put people in situations that are unhealthy and toxic with each other because they don't have proper respect when it comes to their exes.
People get killed over this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Unalive fact. Because of manipulation. Women have killed women over a guy being in the middle manipulating the situation without being honest and truthful about it. and the women not maintaining their emotions and not going to the right person, they fighting each other. So they end up killing each other. And men too. So you have to really be aware and cognizant of that.
Yeah, ugh. Yeah, that's bad money. That's bad money.
Exactly.
Because even if you're not in a good place in your relationship, you don't want to test somebody's patience. You don't want to do that. And some people get off on that bullshit. All right,
Exactly.
Vita, what's good, ma?
Hey, hey, how's everybody doing?
I'm
Oh my goodness, it's been a minute, a hot minute, y'all. Like, listen, I am. Omar probably think I'm just like, where is Zeta? Like, I'm here, but Omar, no, like, no, you probably don't know. So I done went back to the government situation in the last 3 weeks. Has been hell. So I'm in that. Yeah, I'm not furloughed, but I'm still in that. So I work during the day and you be sleep and I be up. But tonight I'm being bad, so I'm up. So, I said tomorrow's Friday, fuck it, I'm up. Oh, so I am listening to y'all and I just can't do nothing but agree. I think that there's nothing more attractive than a man and a woman and just love in general when y'all can just come together and just have a conscious decision to say, like, we're not meant for each other. We need to separate. This is something we can be friends. You don't see that no more. You don't see it at all. So I am personally in a similar situation, but I will say this. I think that I would love to see someone who can just walk away. How do you say someone can just walk away? When I say walk away, I mean, like, if you say to someone that this has been good, we've had our good times, we've had our bad times, there's been some ups and downs, but let's say we really need to, as adults, even in our 40s, I'm in that 40 club right now. So even in that 40 club, I can't have a conversation with someone without them getting very emotional, okay? And then taking it to another level and making me feel like, damn, do I need to go get a fucking weapon, or do I need to go hide, or what? Like, what, do we regroup? I mean, I'm not sitting here calling you a name. Like, this is too much. Like, how do you sit here and say with someone that you have, like you said, transferred bodily fluids with, it could be a baby daddy, mama, girlfriend, boyfriend, someone you had a one night stand with, and then y'all rekindle like a month later, and then all of a sudden they just resurface. Hey, we not doing this no more. Like, it's been cool, it's been fun, but this is why we not married. This is why we ain't been engaged. This is why we never got there.
Okay.
So we need to come to an understanding and say, no, we're not doing this. Can we really just, how do you do that, Omar? Come on.
Hey, look. Look, either somebody is in your life or they out of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you get to determine how that goes. Sometimes you can be in a situation where you feel powerless over, like, like I don't know if you ever been with an ex that tried to like guilt trip you and shit, or get sick when you try to quit them, or, you know what I mean, get cancer. You know what I'm saying? Can you just go to this last chemo? Can you go to this last chemo treatment with me? You know what I mean? If you do it, I'll go in remission. Like, what the fuck is you? Listen, people play games, but you have to decide if somebody's in your life or they out of your life. Because if you don't have the balls to like shut it down, like, listen, I wish you the best, but you ain't gonna be the best with me. You're gonna have to be the best with whoever comes after me. But I got this situation going on, and it's a good situation, and you're not gonna fuck this up. So, whatever you need to do to move on, you do it. Stop asking me to help you to move on, because that's not helping you. That's not helping you.
This is funny to me because it's like, it seems like when you reach a peak where you can give the person all the information that they need, and then it's like they still find a way to hold on. It's like you can stop speaking for 5, 6, 7 days, and then all of a sudden you get that weird, funny text message. And this is why, like, I heard you talking about something about changing your phone numbers and all that. Now, this is the first time I've had the same phone number in the last 2-3 years. I've had the same phone number for the last 3 years. I used to change my number like popcorn. For whatever reason, I did. I did. I was enormous for that. My family was like, well, y'all got the same number. I don't even know your number no more. Well, it's because it's just certain individuals, not just individuals, but outside in business and stuff like that. I didn't want my number no more out there. But now that I'm older, I'm like, well, fuck it. If you got my number, you got it. But let's say I don't really want to block you. But if I'm not responding to you the way that I normally respond to you, I feel like you need to be able to pick up on that shit. And if I tell you directly and you're getting your feelings, that bothers me because now I feel like I'm on defense mode because now I feel like I need to watch certain things. Like, are you going to react are you going to react differently? Like, I don't know how to take this anymore. Like, you're just weird. Like, I don't know. And I don't know. I have that effect, some kind of effect on people where if I stop speaking to them, I'll give you the discernment that I have the discernment to know that if I feel like you are not healthy for me, I fall back. But at the same time, they're going to resurface. That is just how it is. Like, perfect example. I haven't seen my daughter's father in years. He hasn't been around. But near my house, there's a gas station. I've ran into him now 3 times in the last month at the same gas station. And he hasn't seen his daughter in about 3 years. We walked past each other 2 weeks ago and didn't say a word in the gas station. And the reason why is because he knows we're toxic. We can't speak to each other. We can't have a conversation. We can't even talk about our daughter. And that's fine. But at the same token, you know where I live, you know where I stay. You're not going to come because you know it's going to be an issue. So we have decided to not speak. But there are other individuals, even in family, there's ones that will surface and you don't mess with them at all.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, where does this text come from? Why are you texting me? Why? Out of the blue? Where did you come from? It's crazy to me. I'm trying to, this is where I'm at in my mid-40s. I'm trying to figure out how to balance that.
Yeah. You want to take that?
I was just asking, you're trying to figure out when you talk to the person, then it could be potentially be a safety issue when you're upfront and you're assertive and you let them know I really don't mess with you. Then you're saying that they get into their feelings and you wonder if there could potentially be a safety issue versus falling back and being silent about the situation.
Yes. Because if I'm silent about the situation, it doesn't go anywhere. It's like it's still, I will say directly, it can be verbally or in text message that this is not working. And I think that we need to give each other space. And I try to say it so ginger. Like ginger means like, because this is a person that you have to be ginger with, like, because it takes it to a different level. It goes to from 0 to 1,000 because they don't understand. It flips. Like you think that, okay, we're talking about one situation or a scenario, and then all of a sudden they're gaslighting you, and you're like, well, where the hell did that come from? So, okay, fine, I get it. All right, so I'm going to treat you like a child now. So I'm just going to fall back, not speak. The silent treatment goes on for about 4 or 5 days. And then all of a sudden they'll resurface and then say, how was your day? How you doing? You okay?
So
You good? Like what?
So why?
I thought we were dead. Like what? Like that's where I'm at. Like right now, and it's driving me crazy because I'm not used to this.
Okay, but my question is to you. First off, if safety is an issue, that's something that you can legally take care of if you need a restraining order. If safety is truly an issue and this person's emotions are out of hand and they don't know how to regulate. Secondly, if you really want to be done with that person and you silence, even when they show back up through text, it begins with you, it ends with you. You cannot answer those texts or regard those texts and keep them in the motion of silence, even with them showing back up through text, because it really, you have the power in that situation. So if you really wanted to be over with, you literally can, unless it's truly a safety issue, then you would have to get the law involved.
You're right. I'm gonna try to follow through with what you're saying. I've tried it in the past, like the last 3 times I would say would be most within the last 6 months, I would say. I've tried it within the last 6 months and it just hasn't been successful.
A lot of people say
safety wise, I would say safety wise, this is a person who I would feel like would actually react in a way that would surprise you. And I would say that to say, if a person is unstable when they're okay, I don't, how do I say it? If they're unstable when things are going not so good their way, that has nothing to do with you at all, and then put you in the equation, that's just a whole tornado. So if I'm in the mix and things are not going his way, and if I say, listen, you know, perfect example, if today he's good, tomorrow, if I say, look, I don't think I'm going to see you this weekend. I think that I just need some space, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be a whole situation. Why? Like, I'm being accused of X, Y, and Z.
Are you having sex with
this is a 4-year thing.
Trying to break up? Are you trying to break up with him, but you guys are still engaging sexually?
Not over a month and a half.
Okay, and you're trying to break up with him. And that's been
an issue because I've been dodging that. So
that. And you should continue to dodge if you trying to break up with him. Because you don't want to keep binding your body and giving him the wrong message.
Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, no, because in a sense, it's been like this for a hot minute. So at the end of the day, when you're trying to break those soul ties, we have no children, we don't live together, and you have 4 years. It's just 4 years, but it's time. So when a person is emotionally connected and invested in something, they feel like there's something that they're connected to, they want to keep holding on to that. That's the issue.
Yeah, well,
you can put him on silence. I have to put my ex on silence, and even though he tries to get back in, I still keep him on silence because it's not anything that I want anymore. So I had to understand that in that case, I had the power. Unless it's not a safety issue with him. He has come by and rung bell and everything, but I ignore him. I don't give him that energy. I don't give him that understanding that he could possibly get back in. If you're trying to get rid of a man or a woman and you constantly have sex with them or you consistently entertain them, then they're going to know that there's a way for them to get back in. If you block all areas of them being able to get back in, then eventually they get the message. And if they never do, then you can have advances, but I never have to take your advances because it ends and it begins with me. I hear a lot of women particularly who say, well, why won't he let me go? No. If the situation is not good for you and you have deemed it to be toxic for you, then you need to exit yourself out of that situation, period.
Right.
Let me put this a little, let me see if I can help this out. You can't sell your house and live in it at the same time. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
Huh?
I said you can't sell your house and live in it at the same time. You can't sell your car and still drive it.
Right.
If you sell your house, it goes to the next person whoever bought it. You know what I mean? You can't come back there later and be like, oh, yo, you left something in the basement. Hey, you should have got that shit when, you know what I mean, before we took possession. You needed to do all of that before settlement. It's a wrap. Them locks is changed, and I'm not giving you nothing that was in the house. Anything that was left in the house after settlement is mine. You know, and you understand. You know how this thing go. So, you know, sometimes in your see. The thing is, sometimes you might be. All right, my baby brother. I remember one time my baby brother was trying to break up with his girl, but he was also trying to keep her rent paid. And so, you know, me and my dad had to tell him, like, listen, that ain't gonna work. Either you with her, which would justify you paying her rent or helping her find a place or whatever, keep a place. But if or you gotta break, or if you really want to break up with her, then you broken up all the way. You can't be the good guy and the bad guy at the same time. If you the bad guy because you want to break up, then you know, get comfortable in your role as the bad guy, Joker, Riddler, Rhino. You know what I mean? Whoever you gotta be, Lex Luthor. You know, you the bad guy. Get comfortable in that role. If you gotta still be the good guy, for your ex, then that your ex ain't really your ex. It's like a lowercase x. It's an X written in pencil. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't really real. It ain't really real. You know, and you know, you have to kind of work on your emotional intelligence. I'm not even gonna say your emotional intelligence. I want to say you have to work on your emotional rigidity. And that's not to say that you have to be mean or obnoxious or any of those things, but you have to be stern, you have to be forthcoming, and you have to follow through. It's just like taking a shot in basketball. You know, a layup is an easy shot to make in basketball if you follow through. You can easily miss a layup if you don't follow it through. You got to finish the shot. So when it comes to breaking up with an ex, you got to finish the shot. Look, me and you are through. That's it. You know what I mean? We might need to be enemies for right now. Maybe later on, when cooler heads prevail and you accept the situation, maybe we can be cordial. You know what I mean? Maybe we can even check on each other, just to check on each other. Hey, just reaching out to you. You know what I mean? To make sure you're okay. Make sure that you're still breathing. Make sure that, you know what I mean, you don't have no breathing tubes hooked up to you. You good? I bet. You know what I mean? I'll check on you again in another 7 years. Hopefully we're still here.
He's calling people. He's in the street. He's calling me his wife.
Yeah, well, I mean, y'all was together 4 years, right?
That's not what it is.
Hold on. Y'all was together 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Some marriages only last a year. So in his mind, you know what I mean, you his wife. But you gotta you his ex-wife now. But you have to make sure that you his ex-wife. You know what I
You
mean?
ain't gotta put into that delusion. If y'all are together and you don't want to be with him no more, it don't matter what his perception of you is.
I
Wife,
know, right?
concubine, ex, it don't matter. If you don't want to be with him no more, you are totally you away from that. Like I don't care what you feel about me and say about me in these streets. I have moved on, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to exercise that because it's uncomfortable. It is very uncomfortable when you feel, like you are not necessarily like in a box, but yeah, almost like in a box when someone is just not receiving what you're saying, and it's just not, it's not healthy. It's not good. It's not. It's a it's a feeling that you just don't like at all. Like he's got stuff at my house, and I'm like, when you have to detach, you have to detach and completely detach. You don't want to get up and see anything. You don't want to. You just need that space, regardless of what.
So why haven't you taken the stuff to him then? If he's not has he came and got it, or you
His reactions, his reactions are different. His reactions are very different. I actually said to him not long ago how his reactions made me feel. I said it was a trigger for me, and he said, I can't read your mind, and I can't. You're going through something about what you've been through in your past, very insensitive." So I said, "Listen, I'm gonna tell you again. How you reacted is how I am going to respond."
You
Hello?
I'm not
With it.
Did you cut out? Vita, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. It just
So no,
stopped.
I
You know what I'm
said a
saying? Like,
reaction is a reaction.
mm,
And if I said something like, if I'm telling you that your words and actions are triggering for me, and then you take that and you do something, say, oh well, then that's your past. Your past is your past. So you're taking your past and making it this and that and the third. No, 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 no. I'm telling you this for a reason because this is what it is.
mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I feel like I am in a box where it's going to be challenging to detach from a person that is not really willing to detach. So I'm going to try to go through the motions, but I'm going to do it. I am, because this is not the first rodeo. This is probably like the second, but
This is the second rodeo.
It's a little different.
I've never heard the second rodeo.
You did. Oh my!
No. I've never heard that said. I've never heard anybody say. I never heard nobody say this is my second time at the rodeo.
The short version was I met a dude online, and he lived with me for almost 6 years, and it was hard to get him out my house.
Mm-hmm.
And he got out my house in 23, and he was from Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And he lived in my house, and it was very hard. He moved to Florida, and he took me through court. He took me through everything under the sun. It was just a matter of him losing. He just didn't want to lose. That was a win-lose situation. That had nothing to do with love. It had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with that. It was a situation where I just did not want to lose. So this situation is a little different because it's like, okay, well, now I just don't want to see you with nobody else. That's it. I don't want to see you with nobody else.
Okay.
I talk about, yeah.
So you, the first guy was a homosexual.
A homosexual? Oh, God, here we go.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. Was he helping the household out? Did he
Homosexual.
It was a struggle. It was a struggle because, I mean, like I said, The first one met me at a vulnerable time when my mom passed away in 2013. He moved here and then he stayed with me for 6 years, but it was hard to get him out of a house. In Florida, if you have somebody living with you, you have to evict them. So he was the type of person that you had to go through the motions of evicting them. And when I told him that it was done, it was over, you're not living here no more. Oh Lord, Lord Jesus, like the everything just, oh Lord. Talking about with the emotions. So now this one, that one was definitely, I thought, like I said, that's some triggers for me. And that's why I told this one, he met me going through that. So I was going through that, transitioning out of that. And when I met him in the last 4 years, he's just become somebody who I do not see myself being grounded with. We're not equally yoked. And from where I come from, I was raised, if you're not equally yoked, it's not going to work, period. And if you're not equally yoked, seeing different things in life where you can see a vision with y'all growing together, building together, giving each other something to live off of, it's not going to, sex is, you can sex anywhere. Like, what is sex? Like, nothing. I mean, it's not even about financial. It's always sometimes about just being there for somebody. So at the end of the day, I feel like at the end of the day, I don't really, to be honest, want to be in a relationship, and I don't think I need to be in one. I think that this is just something that just all needs to end. That's how I feel at the end of the day. But this was just very hard to detach from.
Do you feel
they don't want to let go?
It sounds like you kind of like wavering within yourself, like you ain't really ready to fight like this. My question is, when it comes to his things, do you know any of his relatives that or a friend that you can drop his stuff off, or maybe even call a public place and get him ready so that you can have it there? I mean, is there a way like that?
One thing, yeah. So one thing is that he doesn't have a car. So I would have to either one with his stuff. Yeah, Omar. He had a car. That's another situation. But anyway, so yeah, I could drop it. I could take his stuff. Either I've had this whole vision in my mind. Trust me, I thought about boxing it up and just dropping it off, and then sending him a message or whatever, or telling him ahead of time. Listen, you got 13 pairs of shoes over here and like 10 shirts. He hasn't slept at my house in like a year. He just leaves it here to let the next person know there's somebody that's been here, and leaves it here. He knows his stuff is here. I just don't want no kind of attachment. I think that, it's at the end of the day, he is fond of me and attached to me because when he was going through something, I held him down. But now, fast forward to 2025, we're in, like, I can't, we are not, no, we're not doing this no more.
Struggle love, that one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. You can't let somebody display they bum ass nigga mentality on you. You know what I mean? And you adhere to that shit. Cause look, they will.
Unfortunately, that's what I've been doing.
I'm just saying, because once you feed into that shit, I mean, listen.
But you know what? To be honest, to be fair, I thought that and I might be green to this, and this is what they say. I grew up in the country, and I haven't been in very many relationships, and I've never been engaged. I've never lived with one person. But to be honest, this is where I always thought. I always thought that if you was there for a person, a man, whatever, your man, they would reciprocate or at least almost match what you're doing. And it has never been almost like that with me. Almost never. So when I see certain things and I am working my finger to the bone, and I've raised my 2 kids by myself, don't have no soul ties with nobody, I feel like at the end of the day, I am so sick and tired of excuses. The excuses are done and played with. And favors went out in 97. When do we keep asking for favors? I'm so sick of people asking for favors. I don't care who it is. Like, I need a favor. I need this. I need that. Like, I can't call one person and say, I need a favor. I need someone. I don't even bother my neighbors. I'm in the house. Can I borrow the ketchup? Can I borrow your car? Can I, what? We're doing this today? It's hard because to me, honestly, in a relationship, it's not 50-50. It's not 80-20. I don't know what a relationship is anymore. I don't know what a relationship is. But when I look at a relationship, I think in my mind, in my fairy tale mind, it feels like it should be honestly equally yoked. Period. Y'all should be on the same wavelength. Have your job, I have mine. You have your shit, I have mine. Your car, I have mine. I feel like you should have your house or your apartment. And if we decide to bring it together at some point in life, then it should be equal. Like it shouldn't have to be like, oh, what do you bring to the table? Do you have, a car? I don't. So you can drop me off to work and then I'll pick you up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't want to diss. I don't want to diss, but you got yourself a bum, and
Yeah,
listen,
that's true.
and yeah, I mean, you got a bum, and one thing is hard to do. Getting rid of a bum is like trying to get rid of a stray cat that you've been feeding. Like
Yeah,
shit, I eat here. I'm gonna be back tomorrow, same time. You know what I mean? You know what I
that's
mean?
true.
Make sure you shake in the bag when I get here. So
Oh my God.
I
And
mean,
it's hard to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like for
how? How is it
someone
hard
that
to
you
see
was
it?
actually into the first couple of
Well,
years,
Hold on,
like
hold
you
on,
was
hold on.
into the
Here
first
go the
relate
thing. Here
the
go the
first
thing. Just because, all right, I'm not saying that you should date. You should date on a financial basis or whatever. You know what I mean? But you have to understand what a person has inside of them. If somebody is
okay,
comfortable with letting you pay for everything, do everything, and be everything, then they a bum. You know what I
that's
mean?
right.
You know what I mean? They along for the ride. They ain't trying to drive shit. They trying to be you got yourself a passenger princess. Fuck out of here. You know, so
Why
bring
are you
bring
comfortable
them.
with that?
so
What about what is there in you? And like you said, you need to take some time out, sis, because I've been there. Okay, it took me to grow and get experience, and it took me to sit back. I've been single for 4 years now because it took me to look at myself and say, what am I dealing with on the inside that makes me think it's okay for me to subject myself to that? Where am I not loving me enough, and not from an ego but not maniacal perspective or delusional perspective, but from a real perspective, I had to start addressing my traumas and different things that made me think that that was okay. Why do I feel like it's okay for me to go out of nature? Because you're really in an imbalance with a man and you're out of nature. Not to say he's supposed to take care of you because we live in a different culture, but you are never
Right.
supposed to take care of him unless you are married and something happens down the line for sick or for health, if something happens, then you are obligated to your partner on the covenant with God. But just in a
Right.
regular monogamous relationship, those tables should not be like that. So what is it that you're missing or you're vulnerable to that puts you in these situations? And can you regulate your own emotions when you're vulnerable? Like the situation you said, the pest that came in when you was vulnerable with your mom's death. I had the same thing. I had a pest to come in. A couple of pests try to come in when my parents died. But I recognized that my emotions were vulnerable, which left me at an attack spiritually. You feel what I'm saying? And I let them brothers go.
Right.
I ain't mess around with them. I didn't have sex. I didn't buy my body because I saw that trouble coming ahead of time. God had given me discernment. So now with this other dude, it don't sound like you giving yourself no time to rest. Like, are you taking the time off to look back and
No.
evaluate, like, where am I lacking love at within myself that keeps attracting this? And if I attract this, do I have to necessarily entertain this? Because I've grown and matured and I know the signs for what this is, and I've addressed those own holes within my soul. You know what I'm saying? I've dealt with those vacancies. I don't let them move me no more. You feel what I'm saying?
let me let me
Yeah.
let me ask
I
you this,
feel
Vita.
you.
Let me ask you this. Have you evaluated your needs in a relationship? Do you know what you need?
You know what? To be honest, I really, to be honest, I don't think I have, if I'm being honest. The only reason why I say, I mean, I think I internally, I know what I need and know what I want, but I don't think I really analyze it. The reason why is because if you, if, if I'm being honest with myself, I kind of detached it. If a person left my house after 6 years and then I not jumped into it, but kind of rolled into another situation after that, I'm thinking I didn't have any expectations, and that's kind of the way it's been. I didn't have any expectations, but now that I'm a little, I'm handling stuff and I'm doing things the way that I do, and I see things a certain way. I'm seeing things a little bit differently when it comes to foundation wise. I don't want to be. It's hard for me to say this. I can't. It's hard to say that I don't want to be married, but I honestly don't care if I get married or not because of certain things. Marriage is I don't feel like it needs to be on a piece of paper, and I don't feel like it needs to be something that is. I feel differently about that. But if in a relationship and then definitely transferring bodily fluids, I'm definitely feeling a way about that now that I'm older, because his spirit has rubbed off on me when it comes to that. After the last 4 years, and I noticed it. And I don't know if anyone in the chat or anybody in the call has noticed this with their partners. If you've been with someone and you've been with them and you actually have a soul tie with them and you actually lay down with them, you will feel certain things if you transfer bodily fluids. So I have avoided him the last month and a half, almost two, because of his spirit, the way it rubs off on me. And my expectations in a relationship, I feel like, needs to be present to showing up for me. When I mentioned this a few weeks ago, it turned into a whole situation. He said he couldn't read my mind. I said, well, we were lifting a 400-pound table, and I had to get somebody in the neighborhood to help transfer this in my house, but he didn't offer to help. You was really being a man in my life. If you're going to show up for me, I need you to show up. Do not have me ask you. I think that if you have known someone for so long, you should already know. I mean, in a way.
Characteristics of being above. So it ain't about you, sis. And that's the thing about reading a room. You've been with this man for 4 years. So he had to show you somewhere along the line that he ain't trying to show up. That he just taking up space because he liking what he mooching off of you. It's about what you give in him. So of course he don't have it innately in him for whatever the reason. I ain't gonna down the brother because it's a lot of us that come from trauma for whatever reason, but he ain't trying to display those characteristics. So if you keep sitting there looking for that in that person, that which has shown you that they don't have it in them, then who's at fault? Because at the end of the day, when a person shows you who they are, you better believe it. And this probably ain't the first time that brother ain't showed up for you. If you're gonna be honest with yourself, right? Yeah, and nay.
Right. No, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
See,
so you show this pattern. So you cannot expect. That's just like for me. If all I'm going to give you is lettuce, don't be expecting kale from me. If all I got is lettuce, you're going to bump your head every time and you're going to end up hurting yourself. So where does what he's doing stop any accountability for you as a sister in the type of relationship that you want begins? And can you sit back and be okay with being alone and be okay with your own company until you feel like you done figured some things out and you ready to do this?
Absolutely. You said it all right there.
See, the thing is, having the boy stuff at your crib, you know what I mean? Now he always got a reason to come back. That's like having a key. You know what I mean? Like, well, my stuff is over there. I'm just trying to get my stuff. I'm just trying to get the fuck out of here. I'm giving you stuff. Should be out there in a bunch of hefty bags. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I do you one. I'm better. Three mil contractor bags. You know what I'm saying? So,
You're absolutely right.
but you have to do it. There are some situations that will not go away unless you totally have a dark side and a light side, and they can't come over to the light side, so they have to be in the dark. They have to not be able to contact you and all of that kind of shit. Now, I mean, of course, you know, certain things can happen after that. You know, you might activate a little stalker, you know what I mean? You know, all that old bullshit or whatever. And you may think that you're doing everything to try to avoid that, but there ain't no soft way to get out of this shit. It ain't. So if you're thinking that somehow, some way, the Lord will provide and I'll ease my way out of here. Nah. You know how they say you catch more bees with a fly swatter more bees with with honey than a fly swatter. Well, sometimes you need the fly swatter because you ain't after no honey. Boom, get him up out of there. He got to go.
It's been like a feeling when you have something that you know that you just need to move in your life. That's how it's been for a hot minute. But it's almost like you can't feel sorrow for a person that don't want to help themselves, but they is working. But you can't feel sorrow for them because there's nothing growing. Nothing. And there's no empathy, there's no compassion, there's no understanding. It's always one-sided. So when you actually have to communicate certain things to a person that does not see your perspective of things, you have to analyze it. And I'm trying my hardest to do that. But I've never been on that scope of having to just...
Stop it. If you want to get rid of, stop, do it. Don't, it ain't about him. That brother man is probably in survival mode. At this point, if you don't want to be in it, you remove yourself. Bottom line. Because if you care about you, and this is stressing you out, stressing your emotions, you know, and you tried 4 years, and this is the second cycle that y'all going on, time and God right there is letting you know that this ain't working. You feel what I'm saying? So you like Omar said, you just gonna have to be and it ain't even the bad guy. It just is. You gonna have to go ahead and take ownership and move on up out of that and decide what it is that you want. And if you ain't moving, my question is to you, if you ain't moving and you sit on this phone and you kind of wavering, look at yourself. Why you wavering? Why you wavering? Because at this point, it ain't about him if you keep saying you really don't want to be in this, you really don't want to do this. So then my question is, if you hold the power, why are you wavering? And I will affirm you when you said that spirits and energy rub off along with you with somebody. Yeah, it rubs off. That's why God petitions not to be sharing your body with everybody. And as women, we the weaker vessel, so we soak in way more than what that guy would. That's why we made like a hole. We ain't supposed to be just letting everybody enter inside us like that. And the guy low-key ain't supposed to be doing that either, because in the spiritual realm, you start attracting and taking on stuff you ain't supposed to. So that's why I said it's good when you're trying to get away from somebody to stop binding your body. And then a lot of women, we receptive, so we be open. A man can manipulate emotions a certain kind of way. If a woman ain't got her head right and she just linked on by sex. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a good thing you stop binding your body. But the rest of, I would say to you, and this is from one sis to another sis, being where you have been and grown from it. Man, cut it off. Like Omar said, bottom line. And Omar, he's a man, so he know when a dude being a bum. He know when you need to go ahead and disassociate yourself from that. Listen to him. He's telling you. Like, let it, cut it off, close the door, and move on and address yourself on the inside as to why you keep on doing this. Let that shit go. Stop being concerned about somebody else and they feelings. Let it go. Let him go to the next woman. Bottom
See,
line.
it
And
shouldn't.
prepare yourself if you want to grow with a guy. Prepare yourself to be in a situation where you will nurture, where you will see, where you growing, where you and a guy coming together, and y'all and you know what to look for, and you know what you want.
It shouldn't be hard to let go of something that you don't want. If you still want it a little bit, that's where it gets a little dicey. But
There you go.
that's why earlier I asked, about, have you evaluated what your needs are? You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't know if you're unsure what you want and you don't know what you need, it's gonna make the road. I mean, you kind of make yourself codependent in that regard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
but like I said, if you don't want something, it should be easy to let it go. But if you still want it a little bit, if it's like, I mean, I don't really. It's like having a bad.
Like, 'cause it's not about sex or anything. It was
No,
like,
I ain't talking. It's not always about sex. It's definitely not always about sex.
Him a time, but that time has lapsed, and I'm burnt out. I try to give him time to show and prove himself and do something different. To show something different, like when you show somebody in action, you can always tell somebody that you love them. But when you put the action behind that word, it's different, and you're not showing something that's different. So that's where I'm at. So I have completely detached from it from the last, I don't know how many months.
You might have to love from afar, but you ain't got to live in misery. You ain't got to live in misery. You know what I'm saying? Like, look. Just like raising children at a certain age, after you have trained them, you've raised them, you've reared them, you've shown them the way, you put in the work. It's time for them to be adults. They're going to have to train their own children. But, you can always be there for your children because you birthed them. Those are your babies. Everybody else came to you already in an adult stage. So you got, wherever the fuck they came from, they got to be able to return to that. How does it rest on your shoulders? I mean, like, listen, man, you can have a car that's really, really pretty, and if it don't run right, what the fuck are you gonna keep putting thousands and thousands of dollars into this car that, you know what I mean, that it don't run right? It looks nice. That's what it does. It looks nice, but it's a piece of shit, and it's costing you a bunch of yeah. So besides having to get it registered and inspected every year, you're also spending more money on maintenance than you do on gas, than you do on travel. This shit is worthless. It'd be better to just go ahead and take the engine out of the car and call it a model. But it's not serving you any type of purpose. So yeah, I mean, growing up is hard. And it's hard at any phase in your life because you're not really grown until you start learning freely. So it's not the age that determines your adulthood. It's your ability to be able to adapt into the next phase of your aging process and your growth. So you have to, if you are staying where you are and then calling it and then, thinking that you're advancing, you ain't fooling nobody. You're not even fooling yourself. But, if you really in your heart of hearts think that you deserve to be happy, then you have to do whatever it takes in order to get that happiness. You can't do that by going in this cycle with somebody who doesn't make you happy at all. That ain't gonna work. But it requires action on your behalf. So just like anything else that you go for, where there's a process to it, just like getting a new job or something like that. You have to go on multiple interviews or whatever. You know, there are requirements that are needed in order for you to step into the role. So, and they won't let you skip over areas. Well, you can't allow yourself to skip over areas in your own personal process either. You got to make sure that you know, cross all your T's, dot all your I's, and make sure that everything is good. But this motherfucker got to go. And I don't normally, you know, I normally stray away from trying to give out straight up and down advice. But I will tell you, yo, don't be feeding a bum. Because the more you feed a bum, the bum ain't going nowhere. It's a free meal. It's a warm place. And, you know what I mean? If I wait her out long enough, she going to give us some ass too. It ain't all that bad. He over there convincing himself that all couples have problems. And you over here talking about something, we ain't a couple. Well, he's closer to the truth than you are.
Yeah.
Because he got the hardware. He like, well, we ain't a couple. Why I live here? If we ain't a couple, how come you be helping me out? If we ain't a couple, how come?
No, we would never live together.
Well, you know what I mean. But listen, man. Give that motherfucker, give him a deadline. Give him a deadline. Yo, come get your shit. You know what I'm saying? Come get your shit because it won't be. Throw that shit.
Goes from 1 to 10, and that's triggering for her. You might want to not even tell him and drop his stuff off at a mutual friend.
Listen. You know what? I'll tell you what to do. Go to the public storage place. You know what I mean? You want to spend a couple of dollars? Go to the pay for 1 month storage, and give him the information.
Not that much stuff.
I'm just saying.
The shoes, a few shirts, some pants.
Look. I'm just saying.
I've been leaning towards just boxing it up and just putting it at his door and letting him know that this is just something that I have to do because it's been on my heart for the last few months and it has to be done because he showed up at our house like last weekend and he just showed up and walked in, didn't even knock, and it rubbed me the wrong way. So when I look at him, he comes in and, you know, he's just the type of person that just feels entitled. And I'm just like, I don't have, we're not there. We're not in a relationship where we have that core. You could just walk in and just come in my house and then just lay down. And, you know, I got 2 girls. So when my girls, and I know, they know who he is, but it's not like that. Like they don't see us and know kind of, oh, this is mom's boyfriend, this is mom's dude, this is mom's other half. Nah, you see him when you see him. Like it's not like that. So it's kind of like he just kind of pushes his way in and and you when I do be completely off.
Behavior?
What's my behavior?
What's your behavior behind him pushing himself in like that? Are you being assertive or are you being meek when he does?
I'm not being assertive. Because it makes me nervous, to be honest, like I said before. His behaviors, the way he moves, he makes me a little nervous sometimes. So I hold my tongue a little bit sometimes. When I have said some things, it just makes me a little like leery about how he gonna react. So I just kind of say, you know, certain things, and I say it a certain way that's not going to be triggering because when he acts a certain way, it makes me feel like he might, go from 0 to 100 for whatever reason.
You might want to get your locks changed. You got your locks changed. Get your locks. Did he ever get a key? I mean, was his door open when he walked in?
I got that back a long time ago. He hasn't had a key in about 2 or 3 years. Because that was a trigger. So when he got mad, he gets mad and he reacts. He's the type of person that gets mad and reacts. He had a key to my house when we first met about a year in, and he got mad about something and he dropped my key. He never got it back. So if you give me the key, you'll never get it back again. He never has the key back. So, but now it's like, I don't know how I am going to react if he does just, you know, he's never, like I said, never been violent with me, but it's his verbiage, his certain things that he does that makes me feel, I know he will say and do certain things. So I have to kind of look at him like, you know, okay, he's a little crazy, this nigga a little crazy. I have to look at him a little different. So I have to look at it like, how am I going to approach this? How am I going to make this make sense to him? And that's weird because I feel like I'm going at it in a kindergarten way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, you should just be able to just kind of go your separate way. No, you can't do it.
Well,
Not
he
like
said him, so he ain't just willing to leave like that.
Whew. Yeah, this is
I know, and it's sad that, and I didn't mean to take up all y'all's time on this call with my situation. It just feels like, you know, with the topic at hand, it made sense for me to call because I felt like it is a situation where I have to try to figure it out, and I really appreciate everybody's advice on this call because I needed that little encouragement. I did.
yeah, you on some real shit though. I would look into getting a protection order from this dude though.
That's legal.
Yeah.
But you know, when it comes to protection orders, Omar, to be honest, been there, done that with my New York dude.
Mm-hmm.
When I went through that and he left in 2022, do you know still to this day he still emails me? And like I said, that's why I feel like I don't need to be in a relationship. I need to heal. I need to actually really go through some healing because when it comes to being traumatized by a person that just wants to kind of taunt you and not let go, he's definitely that one. Yeah, he's definitely that one.
But see, here's the thing. Whether or not they honor the protection, the order of protection or not is besides the point. It still gives you a record of what's going on. You know what I mean? And it gives you legal standing to be able to enforce something or to make the police do
sure.
something. So it's good to get it.
When I get a chance, I'm gonna tag you in one of the videos that I have as private, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about when he came to my house. When it was in 2021 through 2022, this man, the police was called to my house 60 times, 60, in 1 year. And the police told me if they came to my house one more time trying to get this man out, they said there was going to be a problem. And it was just that. It was just like that. But I get it. What a protection order is, I stand on them, but I don't. Because it's hard to actually make them reinforced.
Mm-hmm.
They don't come until someone is shedding blood or someone's hurt. So I actually still do stand behind it though, just because you have to protect yourself at any cause, regardless of what that person crazy. You don't know what that person crazy is. See, this man right here, I don't know what really his crazy is. Man,
you a Ford carrier with orders? Do you got a license for a gun? Protect yourself. Straight up.
No, I don't.
Go to the range, sis. Don't depend on the law. Go to the range. Because if a man get the range, you can protect yourself. You got 2 daughters. Go to the range. Start training them too. And arm yourself at the end of the day. Because it's real life stuff. I ain't trying to fearmonger you. But stuff do happen, sis. So take your life in your own hands.
Facts.
Take your life in your own hands in more than one way and teach your daughters the same thing. Arm yourself. And I ain't saying be mean or hate all men or nothing like that. I'm just saying, until you start getting a little bit more emotionally um, educated about your situation in some ways. You already waking up, but the better you get, you can't be out here letting yourself open to pests like that because it'd be hard to get rid of pests. And then sometimes a lot of people be having emotional problems and they don't know how to regulate, but they'll regulate on you. You know what I'm saying? So go on and go get you a hammer, get your gun, and go to the FYB and become a carrier.
Yeah,
Look,
no, you're right. You're right. I'm I feel like this is why I always been like this. Feel like this me against the world type thing because when it comes to people and relationships, even family and whatever, it's hard for me to personally attach to people. But I love people and I appreciate y'all, especially. I do, Omar, especially on this channel. When I jump on, if I call, I'm actually talking. But at the end of the day, this is definitely a real life situation. But at the end of the day, I don't know how this is going to play out. So I will let you know at the end of the day. And I'm going to try to make this play out sooner than later.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know how it's going to play out. To be honest, I don't know. Because it's going to play out before the end of the year. I know that. And it's going to play out maybe before November. I don't know. But it has to come to an end. And I know this because it's just been so many different things that makes me feel uneasy that I know when a person is not going to let go, they're not going to let go in the way that you want them to let go. At least just be like cordial. You know what cordial is? We know what cordial is. Crazy know what cordial is? Nah, they don't know what cordial is.
Nah, fuck cordial. You know what I mean? This shit need to be cut. Sometimes you got to cut the head off the snake. But
it's
listen,
like he has an expectation of me that he feels like I need to always be there when it comes to if he doesn't see me Monday through Friday. Well, I say he has to see me at least 3 or 4 days out the week. If he doesn't see me 3 or 4 days out the week, at least for 15, 20 minutes, it's an issue. If he doesn't talk to me, it's going to be an issue. So he's like, okay, well, are you good? I seen him tonight. I saw him for briefly, maybe an hour or two, and he's like, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. Nah, not likely. In my mind, no. Tomorrow, when I get off work, I go to work at 9:30 in the morning. I get off at 6. I'm coming home, and I'm laying down. But he thinks I am going to see him tomorrow or today. No, you're not going to see me. But in his mind,
still playing the game. To the song yesterday, then you still playing the game, so
look.
For whatever reason, I don't know if you scared, low key, and you triggered a traumatized and you scared. But for whatever reason, you still playing the game, and that's still giving him. If you saw that man, that's still giving him a way in, an interest in. So you're gonna have to be honest with yourself. Because if I don't want to deal with somebody, I don't want to deal with you. I got to the point where with my peace is compromised, and I've let go friends, I've let go everybody, because at the end of the day, y'all don't matter when it comes to my peace and my head strength. If you causing me to question myself and issues and it ain't on the right level, get the fuck on. I really don't care at this point. I'd rather grow plants hydroponically after work and grow my own food inside my place than to deal with your mess. Or go biking, hiking, camping, reading, or whatever I can be doing to set my mind in peace. So if I really want to cut a head off at the snake, I'm going to cut it off. I ain't going to play with you. I ain't going to entertain you. And that's it, because I don't want to keep giving you the wrong message.
Right.
Now, if you doing this to placate because of the simple fact you really scared, low key, then like Omar said, go ahead and get your legal, go ahead and get your gun in place and do what you got to do. But if you just playing around to be playing around, sister, you ain't being honest with yourself.
No, that's really not.
Listen, y'all. We gotta shut this down. You know what I mean? But listen.
I will be in touch. I'll be in touch, and I will definitely keep you. I have your information, Omar. I'll keep you posted, and definitely, sis, I appreciate that encouragement. I need that. I really do. That's why I called in. I needed some encouragement,
all right.
And I need that little extra information. So I appreciate everything.
No, I appreciate you, sharing, and things have a way of working themselves out, but you can go first. You know, there's nothing wrong with you spearheading that. Listen, thanks to both of y'all for calling in. I really, really appreciate y'all. Thanks for the information. I'm sure there's more than one ear, one head, one heart that needed to hear everything that was said. You know what I mean? This is real life situations. These are real life situations, and these are some of the situations that we find ourselves a part of. They might not be the most favorable or the most inviting things, but hey, shit happens. But listen, we got to get on up out of here. Yeah, I want y'all to have a good night, a safe night. We will be back tomorrow at 1 instead of 2 because it's the music show tomorrow. Y'all know how that go. So let me bid y'all farewell, and I'll holler back.
All right. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night.
All right, peace, y'all.
God bless you. Love y'all too. And you stay safe, sis.
Should be all right. Everything gonna be good. All right, peace.
Peace.
All right. Sorry about that. All right, we have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious October 16th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box is a happy heavenly birthday to my late great grandmother, Virginia Games. She would have been 104 today. I miss her. She was a firecracker. My grandmother was all of that. Happy heavenly birthday to you. I'm sure that you're smiling down on us, blessing us and guiding us and making sure that you're doing your angelic duties. So happy heavenly birthday to you. And also Patricia de Berganza. Happy birthday to you. And my girl Natoya Still, happy birthday. And Shauna Lynn Sykes, England Broner, Esther Ramirez, Kathy Kilson, Gorna Winthrop, and last but not least, he is last but not least. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious October 16th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on into the damn, to rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, she's out of my life. She's out of my life. Listen, man. Yo. This show started off about if they can still contact you, they can still get with you. And as you can see through some of the examples, there's a certain amount of truth to that. Is it all the way true? No. Is it individually true? Mm-hmm. Individually, yes. Individually, fuck no. You know? It depends on the energy, the time, and the effort that you give into something. You know, separating and breaking apart is never easy for anyone. And when it is easy for other people, then that kind of lets you know what you meant to them from the beginning. We all have been in positions where we can get our feelings hurt and our heart broken, and our hearts and feelings all in a tailspin. But we got to keep going. We got to keep going. We got to keep proving, keep showing. If somebody should ever ask you to delete all of your contacts, listen, I think is worthy of a conversation. And if the conversation gets too heated because of your hesitance to do it, then that kind of lets you know what kind of situation that you're in and what you should probably be planning on doing. Even if you don't do it that day, you should probably be planning, or at least having as an alternative an exit strategy. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night for the music show, Daily Go Getimism show. So make sure we are here at 1 a.m. tomorrow night on Friday. So make sure you check your times, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I mean, a whole lot. I'm talking about this much. So with that being said, y'all have a good night. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it's either time to go to bed or go to work. Whatever one y'all do it to death. Holla! Peace, y'all.